Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft and I'm mocking, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. Got a good one for you today as we're checking out Chat Sports' own Todd Downey and his mock draft. They did get the draft order via Chat Sports' power rankings, so if you got questions about that, there you go. There's the answer. But what's crack-a-lackin' is your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Let's go ahead, move in this video and see who is pick one. As full disclosure, I did watch the video already beforehand. That way I can, accurately depict Todd Downey's picks here. But Chicago Bears, they're number one. They're taking Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is, for most people, the unanimous number one pick. It almost doesn't matter what team specifically is picking there. Of course, there are going to be some teams that probably going to be looking for that trade. Probably going to be looking for that Keen's ransom. But the Bears and Justin Fields has not looked great this year. A lot of that isn't just his fault. Some of it could fall on Luke Getsy. Some of that could fall on the playmakers letting him down, as we saw just drops in the Kansas City game, and then the offensive line, as they're missing some pieces there. But if you're picking first overall and you're the Bears, I gotta imagine you're taking a quarterback. Now, as you can see, Denver, next team on the clock here, and they're going to be taking a quarterback in Drake Maye. Ooh-wee, that is interesting, because I don't know specifically how much money. I guess I can look it up right now, but to dump Russell Wilson, I imagine, is going to be a hefty price. And if you're Sean Payton, you might be considering looking at a franchise quarterback, but Russ hasn't been that bad this season. That's the thing. Yeah, okay, looking at it right now, they can't get out of him after this season. The dead cap is just too much. It becomes manageable maybe after... Yeah, it's manageable after 2025. So unless they restructure that contract or something, bad contract, I don't see how the Broncos can necessarily go with another quarterback without just taking the hit. Because the dead cap, if after next season or after this season, is over 100 million. And then after that, 85 million. It doesn't become manageable until after the 2024 season. Well, even then, after the 2025 season. So kind of sucks. If you're the Broncos. Kind of in a predicament there. Chicago Bears, I imagine. Yes, it's Marvin Harrison Jr. You get Caleb Williams number one, and you get to pair him up with a stud of a receiver. Now your receiving core looks like Marvin Harrison Jr. and DJ Moore. That is sex appeal if I ever heard it. You could probably move at this point Justin Fields for some sort of compensation. I mean, think about it. You had Trey Lance. He got moved for a 4th rounder. Again, quarterback value doesn't depreciate as much as other positions. Sam Darnold got moved for a 2nd and a 4th. Yeah, Fields you could probably fetch a decent price at if you do move on from him. Arizona Cardinals, they're going to be going with Quinn Ewers. All right, so they go with the quarterback of the future. It ends up being the 3rd quarterback in this class. If I'm the Cardinals, I don't think you do that. I think you just stay the course with Kyler Murray. I know there's a new coaching staff, so maybe they want to go get their guy. But they came into here probably with the sole purpose of no, Kyler Murray will be our guy. We'll get him fixed. It's just, it's going to hurt this upcoming season not having him. And to be fair to the Cardinals, I feel like they may win enough games to be outside that 1st overall pick, where that's probably the only place I'm considering moving on from Kyler Murray. I do love Quinn Ewers. It's just the downfield accuracy needs to get a bit better with him. And I think it will. I think he will be in this first round conversation. It's definitely going to be interesting. Very good quarterback class. Las Vegas Raiders, they're going Shedeur Sanders. Now, if you're going to be in the comments saying, oh, Shedeur already said he's not coming out. I'll believe it when I see it. He's going to keep getting projected in mock drafts until like I think it's January 1st where you have to officially declare. Until he does not declare, he's going to be included in mock drafts. So get over it. I don't care what he said. Thoughts can change. Feelings can change. If he is being talked about as a top 5 pick, top 10 pick, I'm sure Dion would be like, nah, go get your money, boo-boo. So I ain't worried about that. The Raiders would love to get a franchise quarterback. They're probably going to move on from Josh McDaniels after this season if they can financially do so. You're grabbing a franchise quarterback that might not even necessarily need to start right away next to Jimmy G isn't a bad option. But Shedeur, I feel like, could be one of those guys you could probably start early on depending on the state of your offensive line. So I don't mind the pick one bit. All right, we've got Kool-Aid McKinstry going to the Cardinals with pick 6. And I love Kool-Aid. For me, he is probably the top defensive player in this class. Got off to a slow start, but I think he's been pretty solid the last couple of weeks. So I still got him at corner 1. I don't really have anyone vying for that spot right now. It's more so corner 2, corner 3 in this class. And the Cardinals, I think they would love to get another player in the secondary. It's been wild. They've, like, every week, it's been a new player kind of just emerging on the defensive line. Like this past week was some of the defensive interior guys like Ledbender. Like what? But prior to that, you have Dennis Gardeck and Victor Dimukeje. So they also have Maye Sanders. They have Cameron Thomas, some 2 young edge talents that they were hoping to develop. But again, new coaching staff, they could probably go other ways if they want. But for me, Kool-Aid McKinstry is that next guy. Minnesota Vikings take J.J. McCarthy. So 5 quarterbacks inside the top 7. Don't see that happening. But Kirk Cousins is a free agent. They'd probably like to get a quarterback to replace him. J.J. McCarthy looked impressive in 3 out of the 4 cupcake games they had to start the season. That Bowling Green one looked more like what he did last season. But the other 3, he has looked solid. He has been given the keys to the offense. So someone that could probably come and emerge in this first round. But then, of course, you got more veteran guys that might be more plug and play, like your Bo Nix, your Michael Penix. New York Giants, they're going Olu Fashanu. Evan Neal has shown nothing this season. You were kind of hoping he might take that next leap. We'll see. Maybe he gets better as the year goes on. Andrew Thomas has been hurt, so maybe moving Evan Neal inside the guard where they have also had problems and having Olu Fashanu play right tackle might be the way to go. But still, they need to add some more parts to that offensive line before it's even solid. Like Daniel Jones, you're not even getting a decently fair evaluation of Daniel Jones. Like Vanilla Vic is being pressured on like close to 50% of his snaps. That's just ridiculous. Tennessee Titans, they're going with Joe Alt and Olu Fashanu. That's kind of like my 1A, my 1B when it comes to the offensive tackle class right now. If you've been around the channel, you know I had Joe Alt as OT1 entering the season. He has looked nothing but good. He had a dominant performance against Ohio State. And Andre Dillard has been bad for the Titans. They would probably love to get an actual left tackle, kick Dillard into left guard because Dylan Radins hasn't played particularly well there. Your right guard, right tackle situation, Nicholas Petit-Frere, Peter Skoronski, you're kind of cool with that. And then figure out center because Aaron Brewer is not a starting NFL center. Sorry, not sorry. Indianapolis Colts, this one's going to be Brock Bowers. Give this weapon to Steichen, and he'd be like, yes, please. They've been using Kylan Granson more as a big slot. Unfortunately, Jelani Woods started the year on the IR, and Mo Alley Cox is a depth tight end. Brock Bowers gives you so much. A guy that can play in line, he can play in the slot, he could probably play out wide, and you're A-okay with it. He's such a playmaker from the receiving standpoint, and he's coming from Georgia, where he has been a very good run blocker despite being less than ideal in terms of his size. Last year he played at 230, this year he's playing at 240, but still looked good when asked to block in line. All right, what do we got coming up here with the Jets? They get Amarius Mims. Mims is out for the next few weeks with injury, but I do think he could probably get into that OT1 conversation with a strong finish to the season. But if anything, he is OT3 in this class. Just rare size, rare length, rare movement skills, rare power. A guy that just needs to kind of polish up on some of his technique. I think he's going to be a highly drafted prospect. And the offensive line for the Jets has been terrible. It's been bad. All right, we got the Patriots coming in here. They go J.C. Latham. J.C. Latham is a wet dream to an offensive line coach. You look at his size, his movement skills, his power, and you're like, ooh, I love me that. However, another guy that needs a ton of polish, actually, specifically as a run blocker. You would be going to a good system there at the Patriots. They opted not to get like a Broderick Jones last season, but the tackle position's a nightmare currently for the Patriots. I might not have Latham this high, but I can understand taking him this high. I still have a first round grade on him, but it's more back end of the first round. But still, just given the physical and athletic traits, he probably goes a bit higher. Washington Commanders is Dallas Turner. In the video, Todd Downey mentions, maybe get a replacement for Montez Sweat if they don't sign him long-term, or Chase Young if they don't sign him long-term. So edge does kind of emerge as a potential need for the Commanders. Dallas Turner has been fabulous this season. Slow start, got shut down against Texas, but he's been good ever since. I think he is among the top 5 in pressures and win rate, and just dude's looking good. And at that 242 build he has been a very good run defender as well. We could maybe potentially look at him as more of a Nolan Smith type of prospect in this class. The Rams, they're going to be going with Jared Verse, best defensive player on the board, adding more pass rush. They really don't have pass rush on the outside. Byron Young's having a solid season, but who's playing opposite of him? No one good. Kobe Turner's had a good rookie year inside next to Aaron Donald. I don't know, playing with Aaron Donald typically has that effect. So completing the line there with the Jared Verse, just this athletic freak, just chiseled to the gill, looks like a straight Adonis. Yeah, that would be a very formidable defensive line. Tampa Bay Bucks, they're going to go with Malik Neighbors. Huge fan of Malik Neighbors. Mike Evans is a free agent, but I feel like if you're going to look for a pure replacement for Mike Evans, you're probably going in the Keon Coleman route. But Malik Neighbors is a guy that can win on all levels of the field. He can create after the catch, very similar to Chris Godwin in that regard. Okay, this is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They take Denzel Burke. He's kind of a hot riser right now. We'll get to Cooper DeJean in a minute, but kind of a hot riser right now. He's had a very strong start to the season, kind of rehabbing after last season, dealing with injury and playing through injury, and really looked good during the college football playoff against Georgia, but needed a full year of just really good play to kind of rehab that stock. And now I think we're probably talking about him in the first round. He'd be a phenomenal fit for the Steelers, and having him play next to Joey Porter Jr., oh golly, that's scary. Cooper DeJean going to the Chargers. The Chargers cornerbacks have kind of been letdowns. Michael Davis is having a bad year. J.C. Jackson's looking like he's going to get cut at the end of the season. He's like, I don't know why I've been benched. I don't know why. they aren't putting me out on the field. Asante Samuel Jr. Is just kind of struggling because all the parts around him are struggling. Cooper DeJean gives you some good flexibility, whether it's on the outside, in the slot, in the box, or even deep at safety. The guy's a phenomenal athlete with a good nose for the football. Green Bay Packers are going to go with Cam Kitchen. So Rudy Ford, interception last night, and then nothing else from that defense for the Packers. They do have Darnell Savage. He's a free agent, but getting this true center fielder, this guy that is a ball hawk in Cameron Kitchens, I like that. Apparently Aquila likes it too, don't you, Aquila? Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet. So send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals. And guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. At pick 19, the Jacksonville Jaguars take Laiatu Latu. The pass rush has been miserable for the Jaguars. It truly has. Travon Walker has not quite developed yet. Josh Allen is literally the only pass rusher they're getting pressure from, and I believe he's a free agent after this season. Laiatu Latu, I think, leads college football in pass rush win rate. He's up there in the top 5 in terms of pressures. He has been great this season. More of a finesse guy than a power guy, but man, dude knows how to get after the quarterback. The Atlanta Falcons are going to take Kalen Keene. So get that opposite of AJ Terrell. It doesn't look like Jeffrey Okudah is that guy, though he's been slowed by a foot injury. Regardless, getting cornerback depth is always a great way to go. It truly, truly is. It's such a volatile position, the corner position, that just having an assortment of good players there goes a long way. Kalen Keene having a very solid year for Penn State as well. New Orleans Saints take Jatavion Sanders. I think Todd Downey said this in the video that just the Saints, doesn't seem like a team with a lot of needs and maybe just kind of taking the best player on the board, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, Jimmy Graham's out here getting touchdown passes. Maybe you need to improve the tight end position, even though they did extend Jawan Johnson and they still utilize Taysom Hill quite a bit. But Jatavion Sanders is a really nice receiving tight end in this class. It's kind of like Brock Bowers and then the rest of the class. But to be fair, this tight end class, I don't think looks too great after a few weeks there in college football. There's some players you like here and there, but getting maybe some of the top guys, I could see them getting pushed up the board. All right, for the Cincinnati Bengals, we're going Emeka Buka. T. Higgins is a free agent, so having to replace him might be a top priority. Not exactly a verbatim replacement here. Keon Coleman kind of would be that guy. But you get a very good route runner, especially I think a guy maybe in the slot, because I think, isn't Tyler Boyd a free agent as well? So even if they do retain Higgins, you get Ibuka to play the slot there, and your trio is just terrifying. Truly, truly is. Great route runner. He gets kind of lost in this wide receiver class with just Malik having big games and Coleman having just highlight moments. Seattle Seahawks are taking Jerzon Newton. They get someone who is a very solid run defender, but also a pure penetrator. We saw what Mario Edwards did this past week against the Panthers. I don't know if that's something he's going to be able to consistently do during the season, but they could definitely add more players on the inside to that defense. And then likewise, the Houston Texans are going to be taking an interior player in my boy Leonard Taylor. Huge fan. Hasn't really gotten the big snap count this year. I was hoping, but he's been uber productive when on the field. Only 100 snaps through 4 games. To be fair, it was a bit of a cupcake schedule up until now, but Leonard Taylor, this guy he's just built at 305 and moves like a linebacker. It's absolutely redonkulous. And then we have the Baltimore Ravens going with Nate Wiggins. He's another hot riser. If you remember, if you watched my preseason cornerback video, I talked about two guys that have chances to have monumental rises and be first-round talents. One was Kobe Bryant from Kansas. The other was Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins has played well this season, and he is a phenomenal athlete. He should be definitely talked about in that first-round area, and he's going to be a big riser on my cornerback board. Just a little heads up. Detroit Lions are going to take T'Vondre Sweat, the big mammoth nose tackle out of Texas. Guy still plays on a pitch count. He might get up to 400 snaps this season, but what he can do at the nose tackle position, being a solid run stuffer, a guy that just kind of creates pileups in the middle, but has actually shown a bit of a pass rushing upside to him this year. We kind of was thinking the breakout might be last season. It wasn't. This year he's played a lot better. Detroit actually have one of the best run defenses going into week 4 currently, and I mean, we kind of saw that last night with the Packers. Now they had a healthy Bugs, which kind of helped. Aiden Hutchinson's been a monster. Lee McNeil's been great. Like maybe run defense isn't the area you go with when it comes to the Lions. There might be some other areas where, like corner, we could talk about maybe adding more playmakers at receiver. Though like Josh Reynolds has stepped up huge this season. They still have Jameson Williams ready to come, like about to come back after week 6. So maybe corner. Corner feels like the position. All right, we got the Buffalo Bills going Keon Coleman. Gabe Davis, I believe, is a free agent. He's shown a little bit this season, but you want to get more from that wide receiver too. Keon Coleman's just this alpha X prototypical, just go up and get him. Monster, man. Great contested catch player who can also create after the catch just because he's big and hard to bring down. He's had a big year for Florida State. Dallas Cowboys, they're going to be taking Patrick Paul, a guy that has great traits in terms of the length, the power, the movement skills, and he has been unstoppable this year. He's looked much more put together as a run blocker than he did the previous year. A guy that is still working on his hand placement, his hand technique, but he is having a I don't want to say a breakout year because last year was a very good pass protector, but this year it looks much more all put together for him. He's probably going to be, if you didn't have him in the first round, he's going to be a riser for a lot of people. I don't like him as a first rounder right now, but a lot can change. Kansas City Chiefs go with Rome Odunze. Oh gosh, you know what they say? Win in Rome. Yeah, that phrase. But this dude has become more complete. He's learning the wide receiver position, learning it well. He's being physical at the contested catch. He is just this blend of size and speed that is just rare. That's going to put him in the first round. Like, I think he is a first round guy at this point. Him and that whole Washington receiving core have just been tearing up college football. And the Chiefs would love someone like that. All right, going to the Philadelphia Eagles. They go with more defensive line help. Chop Robinson, he's just good value at this point. But I mean, I don't think I go with more defensive line help here. It feels like a position they've already kind of continually addressed. I mean, where else do you go? Do you go corner? You could go corner. I don't mind going corner. I feel like that might be the only other position. Do you take a swing on the linebacker class? I don't think this linebacker class is wild right now. Like, there's some solid day 2 guys, but I don't know if there's a day 1 guy in there. But Robinson has really emerged the last 2 games, though. Miami Dolphins, show me. Okay, McKinley Jackson. I imagine this is in anticipation that Christian Wilkins maybe doesn't get re-signed. Jackson, at his size, moves extremely well, really explosive. Hasn't really popped this season. He's put up solid numbers, not like great numbers. I don't know if it's enough to put him in the first round, but I definitely see him in that day 2 conversation. And then finally, we got Graham Barton going to the San Francisco 49ers. I like this pick. In a wide zone blocking scheme, you typically want these guys who are just really fleet of foot, really good athletes. However, you've seen with Kyle Shanahan's scheme that he's kind of wanted a little bit more power. He's been incorporating some power run blocking to his scheme. And that's just not something that's going to be in Barton's wheelhouse, especially if he ends up having less than ideal length. And he's not a guy with the most incredible anchors. So I think like the skill set makes sense, but just compared to last year and this season, what they've been doing more, I don't know. But I get it. Graham Barton, he's got the flexibility. He can literally play anywhere on the offensive line. He's played everywhere. He's played guard, he's played center, he's played tackle. I think he was recruited as a center coming into Duke. But he also has guys that just missed it. Talks about Kalen Bullock, who's having a phenomenal season. Tyler Nubbin. Those are definitely your next 2 safeties. Those 2 are just phenomenal. You got Princely, who's just exploded this season. Braylon Trice, the other edge player you want to talk about in this class, who has been better the last couple of games. Chris Jenkins, who is a phenomenal run defender, who is become much better. He's improving as a pass rusher, and you like to see it. Phenomenal year thus far at Michigan. Xavier Worthy, speed kills, and that's kind of his game. You got Josh Newton, who's had a solid season. Bit of an older prospect, but he has had a solid year. He mentions Barrett Carter, who is probably largely everyone's linebacker 1. Because some of the linebackers you expected to play well haven't really played well out of the stretch, and that's actually Barrett Carter included. Mason Smith, just kind of an athletic freak that needs to see more production before I think he could come out. He missed all of last season. I think there's a chance he returns if the production doesn't get better. And then JT Tuimoloau, who is starting to put it together, put all those athletic and power traits together and having a solid season. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing, and as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.